What's up, everyone? Back for another beer review, and today is Wednesday, which means it's time for another Western New York Wednesday here on the channel. And the beer that I'm reviewing today, well, it captures the spirit of what Western New York Wednesday is all about, and that's because this is a huge collaboration between 22 different Western New York breweries. And the name of the beer is Classes in Session IPA. So obviously it's a Session IPA. It comes in at 5.8% alcohol by volume, 35 IBUs, and at the time of this review, this can is about 3.5 weeks old. So this is a huge collaboration. And it's just really cool to see so many Western New York breweries come together to brew a beer. And they did so for Buffalo Beer Week, which ran from September 14th until the 23rd. They had 10 days, 100 events. Today's actually the day after Buffalo Beer Week ended, which I know, like, why didn't I review this and put it up during Buffalo Beer Week? I don't know, just never got around to it. You're actually going to see this a few weeks after that I'm actually reviewing this, so like early to mid-October. But anyway, so 22 brewers got together, and those brewers slash breweries are 12 Gates, Community Beer Works, Buffalo Brew Pub, 4 Mile, West Shore, Hamburg, Thin Man, Rusty Nickel, 42 North, Resurgence, New York Beer Project, Ellicottville, 5+20, Flying Bison, Lily Bell, Sato, Buffalo Brewing, Big Ditch, Brickyard, Woodcock, Pressure Drop, and Old First Ward. They also list New York Craft Malt and Niagara Craft Malt in addition to Ironheart Canning and Berlin Packaging. So huge collaboration. On here, they say this brew is a juicy, easy drinking session IPA born from the collective minds of over 20 local brewers to celebrate the evolving history, continuous education, and collaboration of Buffalo's craft beer scene. And for hops, they have the hop profile here: Mosaic, Citra, Galaxy, Wakatu, and Kohatu. The first three being my top three hops. Mosaic, Citra, and Galaxy are fantastic. And the latter two being New Zealand hops that I can't remember having in any beers. I'm sure I have, but just not, like, I haven't had a beer that specifically mentions those that I can remember. But anyway, there's actually 21 breweries technically involved in here. Lily Bell is a meadery, but in the title of this review, I'm going to put 12 Gates in collaboration with 21 other Western New York breweries because it's 22 brewers involved, meadery or not, they were involved in the process. So that's pretty cool. Now I saw Brian over at Buffalo Beer Reviews review this about a month ago. When I posted this, it'd be about a month ago. And, you know, he said it was okay. He wished it was a little bit better and bigger. And I pretty much told him, well, at least in my opinion, that, you know, the whole point of this was, a huge collaboration to just get together and brew something for Buffalo Beer Week. And he was like, yeah, I get it. He just wishes it was a bit better. So that's all I've seen as far as like people reviewing or any feedback. I haven't seen too much about this one. So hopefully it's a little better than what he was describing. But we all have different palates, and I enjoyed his review. So we'll see what I think about it. So anyway, let's give this a pour into the Community Beer Works glass here. So this is, this is a pretty crystal clear, like old, not crystal clear, there's a little bit of chill haze to it, but yeah, that pours out this like golden, yellow, almost orange color to it, a finger of a bright white head, really nice, compact, creamy looking bubbles, but that looks like an older school IPA. That doesn't look like this New England style haze craze that everyone's going crazy about, and that's fine with me. Let's get a nose on it. Ooh, that's actually really, really nice. Mosaic seems to be screaming on this. It's the first hop they list. I don't know if that means it's typically the in order of how much you use, right? Like, or what's the more prominent hop as far as how much of it you use is usually, from top to bottom. So Mosaic is the #1 hop. I can see this. I can smell it. There's a lot of like blueberry, nondescript, red berry screaming from this one. There is some stone fruit in here as well. More to like the apricot peach side of things, more so than a mango. But there is this like resinous, piney / dank character too. Yeah, for sure. There's a little bit of like a spicy earthiness as well. Maybe zesty, like a zesty lemon lime undertone to this one too. Yeah, I mean, it smells pretty good. It smells a bit bigger in the nose. Now, they probably dry hop this, if not double dry hop this. And so many beers nowadays, when I get double dry hopped or even just regular, like really hefty dry hopping process, the aromatics are fantastic. That's kind of what double dry hopping and dry hopping in general adds. So the aroma's fantastic, but will the taste carry through? I don't know. That's why we're going to give it a go. So cheers, everyone. You know what, Brian? I see what you're talking about. First off, at 5 point, this is one of the, as far as bodies go, this is one of the lightest bodied beers I've ever had that is almost hitting 6%. This is watery and very, this is like straight up light body. This is like drinking, yeah, this is like drinking like a 4.5%, 5%, like just pale ale or lager. It's very, very thin. I'd say straight up light bodied, a bit watery. The mouthfeel, kind of crisp. Finish is semi-dry, relatively clean, very refreshing. But why? The reason I said I now know why Brian said what he did or how he felt is because there's not a whole lot going on to this one. And I get it. It's a session IPA, right? You're supposed to be able to drink a shit ton of these. Here's the thing when it comes to session IPAs, though. I want my session IPAs to be in like the 4.5%, 5% range, like your Firestone Easy Jacks or Stone Go-To or something like that. They're lighter ABVs, but they still have the hop character of something that's 6-7%. More often than not, I'm fine with a 4.5%, 5% beer having a body of something that should be 4.5%, 5%. This one's almost approaching 6, but it has a body that pretty much is like 1.5. I'd say 1 to 1.5, 1 to 1.5% lower in ABV range. So Paul wouldn't think this is a bit thin. Paul would be very angry, very, very angry with this. But as far as flavors go, more of that peach, apricot, stone fruit. That Mosaic's kind of dialed back in the taste. Little bit of like that blueberry tinge more so than a red berry. There is more of a citrus kick to this one. Lemon, lime, even a touch of orange. Very zesty, almost like the citrus peel as opposed to the actual flesh of it. Not a ton of bitterness to speak of, just a little bit of bitterness. You get a little bit more of that malt character, like a slight bready, biscuity thing going on. As you can see, I am putting this back quite easily. It's not a bad beer, and I think that's kind of what Brian was saying. It's not a bad beer, but at the same time, there's nothing special to this beer outside of the fact that there were 22 different Western New York craft breweries that collaborate on this. I wish their collaboration was maybe a different style. Session IPAs, a lot of people don't really care for them. I like session IPAs, but in moderation. It's not a style I seek out, but I do enjoy it. Like the aforementioned Easy Jack Firestone Walker, fantastic. I love that beer. Tough to find it fresh, but I love it. This one, though, is kind of, for me, forgettable in a lot of ways. I get what they're going for. I do think you could session this. For me personally, I probably don't want to. It's not a bad beer by any stretch of the imagination, but for me, it falls a little bit short of what I was looking for. I don't want to give it a terrible rating because it doesn't deserve it, but at the same time, for me, it's okay. I'm going to give it a 3.25 out of 5. It's an all right beer. If you do see this and you're in the Western New York area, at this point, it's probably going to be like 6 weeks old. But if you want to try something that is collaboration by the vast majority of breweries in Western New York, give it a go, see what you think. But for me personally, it's just something that falls a bit short for my palate. But if one of you out there or anybody out there has had this beer, let me know about it. Let me know what you think, and maybe I'm way off base. Well, I usually am because it's my palate, and beer is subjective, the whole nine, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, anyway, appreciate you guys stopping by. That was Classes in Session from 22 different Western New York breweries. Gets a 3.25 out of 5. Until next time, cheers.